Hi, welcome to the Vaguely Anime Podcast. I am one of the hosts this afternoon. Didn't fuck it up this time.
Great job.
I don't think it helps that you point it out every single
I got
time.
because
Is it your own confidence boosting?
Exactly.
Like, oh, I got
it's
it.
for myself.
Okay.
I am one of the hosts. This I already said that. Michael, followed by Kat.
Hello.
And other Kat, Sage.
Yes, other
We are
cats.
the cats.
Yeah.
We don't. Do we have a topic for today? I actually didn't even ask.
Is this not
No,
Anime
we're doing
Club?
that next episode.
Yeah.
Oh.
Because this is 44.
Oh, I didn't know what episode this
Yeah,
was.
I forgot to say it beforehand. I asked Kat before, and then I forgot to tell you.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah. Wait, so you've been watching? Have you watched any more Daredevil?
No.
Okay.
The reason why I didn't is because I was going to, but then Avatar on Netflix came out, so I was like, oh, well, I have to watch this because
Right.
that's important in my life. And then Shogun just premiered on Hulu.
Yeah, I need to start that.
So I watched that, which it is so far incredible. They dropped 2 episodes for the premiere. I don't know if I assume they did the same thing for FX. I can't imagine on Hulu they would do 2 and then on FX only 1.
Probably they did the same.
But, yeah, no, this show looks like it's going to be absolutely fucking slamming.
Awesome. I've heard nothing but good things.
Yeah. I will say the one thing is because it's set obviously in Japan.
Right.
And they're speaking Japanese, which I do appreciate because you have to focus. Like you have no choice.
It's full subtitle?
You have no choice but to pay attention because of the subtitles.
Oh, all right.
The only time they're speaking English is when they're speaking Portuguese, and it's like Western characters.
So they just use English instead of Portuguese?
Yes, I don't know why they made that choice, but I kind of appreciate it because I'm like, oh my god, I can give my brain some downtime.
I just like the idea that they were like, let's not give them 2 subtitle-based languages.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised they went for full subtitles.
Isn't it made by like an all Japanese or Asian cast?
I know the lead actor. He's one of the main producers.
Yeah, it's
Hiroyuki Sanada.
Sanada, yeah.
He's like also a producer, and I don't know if like the crew is also all Japanese, but a huge portion of the cast is all Japanese.
Right.
Except for like the couple of Western characters that we have so far.
Right.
Which I don't know if like we'll get more because there's only been 2 episodes, but
Then I definitely feel like I should start it now instead of trying to watch all of it in a go if it's all subtitled.
I was going to say, I do think also as the show is going to go on, it's going to get more dense.
Yeah, so
because there are like elements of a political drama in this.
Yeah.
So to like pay attention in terms of like who's who and who's on whose side is easier in little bits instead of binging.
Yeah, makes sense.
But no, I think the show is really good so far. Everything, it looks immaculate. Like everything looks so good. I'm already hooked. I can't wait for everything else to come out.
How often do they drop it?
So the premiere was 2 episodes, and then I think following is going to be an episode per week. Okay. And I think it's only like 6 or 8 episodes because they're calling it a limited series.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, because there was also a limited series in the 80s, which is apparently also amazing.
Yeah, that's what Mark was telling me, that he had watched the original when it was like first coming out or whatever, or maybe when he was older.
I forget sometimes that he's old.
Yeah, or maybe when he was older, I don't know. But he said that was also very excellently well
I think
done.
Anthony was talking about it before because he was talking about this show, and he was like, we should watch it. And I was like, yeah, I've never really heard anything about it. And he's like, there was a limited series in the 80s, and it's also fantastic.
Yeah.
So
maybe I'll watch the older one too. But
yeah. It is made by at least non-Asian sounding names.
Non-Asian sounding names?
There's no, let's see. Japanese descent. Okay. So, and, I don't know about this one. Justin Marks they just say American, so I don't know.
Okay.
But, yeah. It seemed interesting, and I was thinking about starting it, and then I was like, I literally was hovering over it, and I was like, they're going to be here in like 30 minutes. I can't just start this show.
Yeah, because I think the first episode, I think each episode is about an hour, maybe a little bit more.
Right.
But I do think it comes out every Tuesday. So, I mean, like, you have time to watch episodes 1 and 2 before 3 comes out next week.
Right.
so you would have no problem there.
Gotcha. Did you watch any of the new Avatar? No.
No, I know like a lot about it, but I haven't actually watched it because I haven't figured out how to get into
Obtain Netflix.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. I was like, where are you going with this?
I understand what you're saying.
Yes.
Yeah.
I do not consume Netflix.
Yeah. Me and Sage did a special, I guess now, like 5 weeks ago.
Yeah.
But on it.
Oh yeah.
You'll hear
Yeah.
the special.
Yeah. You'll hear it.
By then, I hope
It's
You'll
gonna be.
have watched
Yeah, but then I can consume the episode.
It's gonna
Yeah.
be. It's gonna be 2 hours long.
Yeah.
We didn't.
We
hours
were trying to
long.
record it in one sitting.
Why wouldn't you just edit it
Because
sooner
we-
to make it come out faster?
Well, I mean, it's gonna come out
On-
for this Sunday. Sorry.
Oh, so you are.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. No. So we recorded it, but I had to do something, and we were an hour in, and we were only halfway through the episodes, and I was like, all right, either we have to redo this and speak quicker, or we do it 2 hours. I'm still debating on if we might redo it and do it faster. Just instead of episodic, just kind of condense.
If you wanted to have it like a general overview, yeah, that's fine. But I feel like you miss.
You think we should keep it as each?
Yeah, because
It's just 2 hours.
what's the point of being like, here's our review, and then you don't
Yeah,
go in
all right.
depth?
That's
Yeah.
fine.
I actually.
We're recording the second part on Friday.
I actually get mad when I go onto YouTube and I'm like excited to like
And then they don't
see
go in depth.
reviews of things that I've already watched or like I just watched, and I want to see like if people have similar opinions to me or opposing, in their arguments. And it'll be like, oh, series review, and it's like 20 minutes long. I'm like, what are you gonna tell me in 20 minutes?
I
Nothing.
one of my favorite review or just he's a writer, so he does a lot of world building stuff. Hello Future Me.
Oh yeah, he's great.
Great, huge Avatar nerd too.
Yeah.
And he did he said in the video, he's like, I'm going to make a longer one.
Right, more
but
in
he was
depth.
just general, the good, the bad, and the okay.
Yeah.
And it was like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And just overall talking about it, which I thought flowed really well. It gave all his kind
I've
of
just
thoughts.
been hearing all the things they've butchered. I haven't heard any good things really.
There are good things. It's just.
I mean, I heard it looks good.
It does look
That's
good.
like the one
I
thing
do
did
think
hear.
I do think that we have as a society forgotten how to light things. Because there's a famous quote that I'm going to butcher because I don't remember it word for word.
Why don't you just look it up?
Yeah, I guess
Butcher
I
it
could.
first and then look it up.
Yeah. I was just gonna.
Yeah.
That during Lord of the Rings, when they were lighting all the night scenes, one of the actors was was asking where's the light coming from, and the lighting director or whatever was like, the same place the music is. It doesn't matter. You just need the light to be there so you can see what you're looking at. Because the music also isn't in the movie. It's just added later. No one thinks about where the music is. You don't think about the lighting because you can see. That's all that matters.
Where's this going with?
That Avatar in any night scene is extremely hard to see what's happening.
Oh, okay. I
They
was
don't
like,
they
what
don't
does
light
this
it.
pertain to?
There's no they just because they went with natural lighting, and natural lighting is the bane of existence.
Wait. So I have a question for you guys because I was talking to Simran about it because she was watching it with her boyfriend. Though she hadn't finished it, but I was just asking her opinions on it, and if it was worth it to watch. And she said, Matt's her boyfriend said he doesn't like it, but she likes it. So they're
Had she watched the original?
Yeah, both of them did.
Okay.
And she, I had seen people talking about this. So anything I saw was before it came out. So it was from trailers, screen grabs, things. It wasn't from when the show actually came out. I was kind of trying to actually avoid that for if I was going to watch it. But something I had seen was for Zuko's scar.
It's not enough.
It's not.
So I asked her, and because I had seen literally a comparison
Right.
of it, and it's the tiniest bit instead of what it's supposed to be. So I asked her because I was I don't mind that as a spoiler. I just asked her, I said, now that it's out, because before the video I had seen, they were saying I'm just hoping it's a lighting thing, and it's actually more.
No, even in like the
Dominant.
daytime scenes, it's
It's
pretty.
not, yeah.
The thing is, I mean, if you compare it to the live action movie, the scar is more prominent.
Yeah, in the movie
Because
it was barely
in
visible.
the movie, they gave Dev Patel like a little red eyeshadow and called it a day.
But so for things I have seen of this, I feel like it kind of still looks like.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
that,
definitely
like-
there. It's
Yeah.
just
It's
it doesn't
there,
look like
but-
it looks like a first degree burn scar
needs
and not
to-
a
it
third.
doesn't-
yeah. I think the problem.
It's not a third. It is like
Yeah.
it
And
is just
it's
red.
Too small. Like it kind of looks like a
Also,
black
he still has an
eye.
eyebrow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they're just. I don't know.
It's just
It
not
looks-
enough.
It looks like they're focusing too much on like attractiveness than like. Yeah, like it's not.
I think, well,
It's
you know,
not-
and it's funny that you're saying they're focusing on too much attractiveness because when we get to
'Cause,
the
like,
Northern
fact
Water
he has
Tribe,
an eyebrow, like that's not an important thing to
when
have.
we get to the Northern Water Tribe and you see Princess Yue, I don't know
Oh, I heard about her
who,
wig.
who approved of this. Her
In the-
wig
in-
looks
I haven't seen
in the Netflix
wig.
one.
Okay.
I just heard about
it's-
the wig.
And it's so funny to me because I was thinking about this. I was like, there's actually an element from the live action movie that is actively better.
Yeah, the penis one. The
Like-
the penis wig,
If you look at her from the front,
not the back.
the hair, even the new wig from the back looks terrible, but
It's not a penis though.
from the front, the Netflix
it's a thing.
version looks so comically bad. And so it's weird because you can tell they spent a lot of money on a lot of things. So why this element you chose to like cheap out on,
or they spent a lot of money on it, but they just didn't.
it just doesn't look good and it doesn't look natural at all. Like, and
Which is really funny though is that I straight up didn't notice.
oh, I noticed it literally instantly.
But I'm
Same
also
with
usually, like-
Ty Lee's wig was weirdly too big for her face.
That was a wig again. Fucking.
It was very bizarre to look at. I also think Azula, if that was her natural hair, they styled it too big for her face, which is weird because I'm like, you don't have to have such a literal one-to-one translation because you should still want your actors to look good
Yeah.
on screen.
Yeah, but also the whole thing with that they did with Azula is not even is like worse.
I mean, having her in this book is kind
No,
of
I'm
wait,
fine
wait,
with
wait.
her being there. I think that's fine. I think that what they did with it makes her infinitely less interesting of a character.
But side note, if
They
they,
just did it
can
wrong.
one-to-one her hair, but they can't one-to-one Zuko's scar.
To be fair, I do imagine. Well, no, they could have absolutely just put him in makeup. I was gonna say they probably didn't want to shave an eyebrow, but you could just put makeup
You
on.
literally put makeup
Yeah.
over.
He
like,
shaved
you
the rest of
glue
his
stick
head,
Drag,
like-
like you literally
No, because
just
eyebrows
glue
are much
stick-
more important to daily life.
Drag, literally glue stick
No,
it
no,
over.
yeah, I know.
Like
I know.
absolutely, there is no problem. He will have an
Yeah.
eyebrow. Like there is.
Yeah. No, I was just
No.
like I was like, oh, you know, and then I was like, right, makeup, obviously.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. And
like, again,
it
it
looks
should-
like there's no texture to it.
Yeah.
Like
There isn't. It's
It's
very
a tiny
flat.
part instead of like half of his face.
It's just a first-degree burn,
he's
which is
missing
not what
an
like.
eyebrow. It's almost like he melts like half of his face. Like it's almost he
I
can't
also just
open
don't like.
his eye.
Yeah.
Like,
I also just don't like that scene for the other fact that like Zuko fights back, and that kind of defeats the whole purpose.
I also thought that was weird. I was like, no.
We didn't get to that part, but we'll,
I know.
Yeah, but yeah, like him fighting back is a weird choice because the whole point is that he doesn't, and his dad just forms
Yeah.
him anyway.
And the
They also-
disforming feels a lot more like spitting in his face, if that makes sense.
But like, yet they do it in a way that makes Ozai look like he's remorseful about it.
yeah,
And it's like,
I'm
that's weird.
The way I described this show actually to Mark was, it's like they want to have their cake and eat it too, because they want it in part the story to be their own thing.
I've always hated that phrase, by the way.
But they also, this is just the best.
Because if you have a cake, you are gonna eat it.
Yes, obviously, but regardless,
Just think about it. It's a stupid phrase.
just regardless,
If I buy a cake, I'm gonna eat it.
I guess
they
I get it.
they
I get
made
it.
character changes and story changes
Yeah.
So you're thinking, okay, it's going to become its own thing, which I personally don't care if they choose to do that. But then they also, on top of that, want to have iconic moments ripped one for one in the way they shoot it and everything from the original show. Mm-hmm. But a big problem with that is because they're reconstructing the plot, the iconic moments happen at different times and with different contexts.
Yeah, like instead
so
of,
they lose their meaning.
Yeah, like instead of Katara talking Aang out of the Avatar state in the Southern Night Temple when he finds Gyatso's body, it's moved to the last episode with her talking him out of like the koi fish Godzilla thing for some reason, or like the fact that you see all the the Airbender genocide, which means there's no mystery about Aang being the Avatar, which we talked about.
Yeah.
Because you just know that, and you know they're all dead, so you can't be like Aang's, like, nobody's seen them in 100 years. Like, no, they've been dead. But then you have all that backstory, so you know how Aang ends up in the iceberg. So when you do the Storm episode with Zuko's flashback, it's no longer being compared to Aang's backstory. Instead, it's like a version of compassion is weakness, and friendship is like I'm forgetting the word, but friendship is like a not a weakness. That's what bad. I can't think of the fucking word. That's his thing. Where like Aang is now going through the like friendship is dangerous, and Zuko's going through his compassion thing. So like they try to change it into a different comparison that does not work as well because you're not seeing the things.
The original creators left because
they weren't listening to their vision.
Yeah, because it sucked.
Yeah.
So
well, yeah, we didn't know that at the time. They just left because there were like creative differences.
I mean, didn't everyone know? They just didn't know specifically what it was going to be, but don't you kind of know?
Yeah, I don't know, but like it's whatever.
Basically,
it exists.
if you go and watch this, I would suggest you try, because this is how I tried to watch it. I tried to really remove the original show.
But how do you?
From this show and be like very
I also tried to do that my best.
Objective about this being its own project, which for the most part I was able to do because they do make so many changes that you're like, okay, I can just pretend like this other information doesn't exist and I'll just roll with what you are providing me in this current scenario, right? But the main problem is the writing is pretty weak.
The writing is the worst part of the show.
The writing and things that they change is okay.
Are they leaning on the fact that they're like hoping that you've seen the original?
I can't tell because everything is exposited.
Some of the things they add to the show absolutely are only there for the people that watched it and make no sense to either the people that did watch it or the people that haven't. Like Wan Shitong showing up means nothing to people that haven't seen the show. And to the people that have seen the show, it's stupid because it doesn't make sense.
His inclusion is completely unnecessary because they take away the whole Zhao finding this information about the moon spirit in the Great Library.
It also doesn't make sense because all he does is explain something we already know.
Yeah.
So it doesn't make sense for him to be there anyway.
Yeah. So I think the problem is the writing in the changes that they make in terms of for characters is mostly fine, but then also they're like, I feel like they remember, oh shit, this show is supposed to be an adaptation of Avatar, but we've run out of time, so let's just put a humongous exposition dump. Yeah. Whether it's a character doing it or like narration doing it, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
It's like mostly fine, but I think Katara gets a huge short end of the stick with it. She gets a lot of her character and development taken.
Yeah, I did.
Aang doesn't waterbend literally at all.
I watched a video on Katara that they like completely changed her character.
And then there's me and Sage did mention this during the our special, which I actually, hopefully, if I remember correctly, I want to bring it up in our second part of recording. But like, we were talking about how they got rid of the pirates, the waterbending scroll episode, and that's like fine. But that episode is important for showing Katara's flaws.
Right.
which are important to show characters with flaws, because she does steal the scroll, and
don't-
Sokka's like, you just put us in danger for no fucking reason.
But that's also to show that she's stubborn. Like it's for like good reason.
Right.
Yeah.
Like if you were to get rid of an episode, getting rid of the Great Divide, Fortune Teller, Pirates makes sense.
Yeah.
But like because she just gets handed the scroll, you no longer get that like little story of her showing her flaws and showing her stubbornness and showing whatever. And then because Aang doesn't learn any waterbending, you don't see him excelling at it way faster than she is and getting really annoyed about it. Like they have no real chemistry between the three of them because they're always being separated.
But there's also no tension or stakes.
Yeah.
Because
and it just feels like they're going to places because they have to.
People keep telling Aang that being the Avatar is going to be a lonely and isolated position, that the Avatar has to do things alone, right? The problem with that is that we've been they say it multiple times throughout the entire series, or at least this first season, but then we don't actually see that be the case because he keeps getting help from everybody else, and he has literally no struggles. So what do you want it to be, that he has to be alone?
Yeah.
He doesn't even try to do things alone. So I'm like,
Yeah,
is that what
yeah.
you want?
That is
or
the
do
one-
you want it to be that everything is easy because he
Yeah.
has friends helping him?
Yeah, the one thing is
Pick
like
one.
people being like, yeah, your friends are a liability. That's the word I was looking for.
So happy for you.
Friends are a liability. That like that's fine, but then either make it harder because he has them, which they try to do because Ko has his friends, and they're like, see, they're a liability. You got to fucking go save them. But when he's doing stuff alone, it's also not hard. So like you're like, all right, well then you don't need the friends. I guess that's clearly true. Like in a way, it makes it seem like he is only saving them because the story says so, and not actually because he needs to. Like he goes into the spirit world. They get captured by Ko the Face Stealer, and then he like has to.
No, just Ko, because he's not stealing no faces.
Right. Yeah, that's kind of true. He did steal
The one face,
Korok's
but
face.
Aang's face was never at risk, and neither
Yeah,
are
because
Sokka's or Katara's.
they took the emotion changing thing out of it. That doesn't matter anymore.
Okay.
But like he goes to save the forest. Heibai gets sidelined immediately. Doesn't matter. You don't have that moment. And then like he's like, oh no, my friends got stolen by Ko the Face Stealer. But now I have to go to the Fire Nation to go talk to Roku about something. And Roku's now not going to actually be important really at all. He's just going to tell me that friends are a liability again for some reason. Getting to the Fire Nation, by the way, not hard at all. Not dangerous. He just gets there.
It literally, he's like, oh, I have to go into the Fire Nation. He comes out of the spirit world, hops on Appa. He's at
No, he doesn't. He doesn't go to Appa. He just uses this.
Oh yeah,
stick.
he just fucking flies there. I'm like,
Yep.
oh, you were just a short trip away, no problem at all.
Yeah, literally, he just lands, no issues. Kind of gets there. Really
And
doesn't have any
also
issues there either.
The fact that he just glides there with his glider, I'm like,
God.
how long can you glide for, bud?
Forever.
Like, good lord.
Forever, man.
Forever.
Can't you? He could fly. We've seen him glide with his own powers.
I guess that's fair.
But like, yeah, it's like
He's actually
it's just
Zahir.
yeah. He
That's
like
gonna be the plot twist.
yeah. He goes. It's like, oh, stop Heibai. Oh, never mind. Stop Ko. Oh, never mind. Got to go to the Fire Nation. Oh, never mind. From the Fire Nation, I gotta get trapped and kidnapped.
How many episodes is it?
8. Which is again.
But everything Mike is describing is literally in one episode.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I got kidnapped.
Okay.
Never mind.
It's a mess.
I'm now kidnapped, but I got to get free so I could go and get to Ko to free my friends, who friends don't actually matter at all in the story so far. Like he has no relation to them.
Mm-hmm.
Like you don't feel like he cares about them. He just cares about them because the story says he does. And then he goes back and frees them, and it's like, woo. Moving on. Like, and it's again, like a lot of people talked about this, but 8 episodes, about an hour each, is 8 more minutes than season 1 had originally.
Okay.
So it's not even like it's less of a time frame.
Yeah.
And again, it's an adaptation, and they have to combine stuff. So it inherently, because they had to combine
But
things.
why
It was
did they if they had
because
the same amount of time?
Because adaptations aren't supposed to be 1-to-1. Like, and
because
that's
then
fine.
what's the point?
Yeah, what's the point? You watch the animated
But
series.
they're making it live action. That's the point, isn't it?
No,
No.
that's never the point.
But I don't understand. Like,
adaptation.
Whatever.
Okay,
I think
like,
it's stupid anyways. I
Well,
think
what
it's
they-
stupid
what-
when they make
what
things
they-
live action. I think there's no
Yeah.
fucking
I
point.
agree.
I agree.
Like, I
My
Whatever.
I
Okay.
heard somebody talk about it today. They were like, if you're gonna make something live action in the Avatar universe, how about instead of making it a thing that can be compared to one of the greatest
Okay,
shows
wait.
ever, make it a different Avatar we've never seen, because then it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Like-
I agree. Okay, so then a question for you. For One Piece, was that changed?
Some things were, yes.
Like this?
I guess in the same kind of way. Again, because adaptations can't. Doing things one-to-one, A, makes it pointless.
But
B,
wait.
is usually impossible.
But I understand for One Piece changing it because One Piece is forever long. So, like, that makes sense to fucking...
But they did a really good job. So.
No, I know, but that makes sense to, like, do it. But I don't understand for this, if you're saying that it has the same amount of time, like, I don't understand...
Okay, because
It's
Because-
stupid. I know
because
it's
in a live action medium,
stupid.
like it you can cover things in a different way. Like, look, I'm defending this while not liking the fact that animation to live action is a thing. But I'm like trying to give you the reasoning, which is like when you're making the adaptation, you never want to make something the same, because if you make it exactly the same, the argument is always why the fuck make it? Because then you could just watch the original thing.
I
Unless
would
you are-
rather them do that because I don't know why the fuck they feel the need to do
Because
it
because what the point of
'Cause they want
adaptations?
money.
Well,
I
yeah.
know. So if you want the money, just make the one-to-one and get these actors paid to just be the live version.
But
Just
like
do
the point,
that.
the point
Like,
of it, the adaptation
whatever.
is to be able to take a spin on it. You're still keeping the original outline and heart, the idea. The idea is to keep the original heart and intent behind it, while adding things that could have been like they add some scenes with Iroh that I think work really well. I think that, in my own opinion, I wouldn't have put them where they did, but they are nice additions. Putting Azula in the first season, in theory, I think could have worked really well. The way they did it, I don't think worked well, but that's because their writing is bad. But like they do add different
They could have
things.
done better if they just fucking did better. Like,
No,
yeah,
like-
I mean,
like,
a
but I'm
lot
saying-
of things could do better
Right,
if
but
they
what-
just did
but
better.
What I'm saying is that is the point. The point is to take the thing and add the spin that like you can
it's-
with foresight now, because you can look back at the original show, be like, what things would you probably add? Because I like if the original content creators of the show, right, were trying to say they wanted to recreate season 1, they'd probably change things because now they have the viewpoint of being like, oh, we know how this is going to lay out. We
They
can
should
add
keep
and
that, not this. Like, I don't know. It's too, I don't care.
I don't
Whatever.
even offer me. I'm not Netflix.
I know you're not.
I'm just trying to explain
it.
the idea.
I know. It's just
And like
dumb.
again, it fine. I still think it's a stupid idea to go into live action, but like a 1-to-1 would always be dumb. You should change things. And if you're going to, just be good at it.
I don't know.
I think in terms of like
Be good at it is so
adaptations,
dismissive. I don't mean that for people that worked on it. I'm sorry. But like,
I think in terms of adaptations, unless you're adapting something that a lot of people don't already know about, you have a much easier chance of it being good, right? Or at least perceived to be good. But when you're adapting something that's like so iconic and such a massive franchise like Avatar, I believe that unless they did everything perfectly right, because I think the main problem is in this adaptation is you don't get the same feeling that you get from the
There's
original.
no joy.
There really isn't. This show, I don't know why, but the show is weirdly negative and like mean-spirited
I mean,
in
they
terms
said
of
in,
like the
like,
dialogue.
Interviews and shit that they wanted to make it a more serious tone.
yeah, they wanted to make a Game of Thrones, which they barely even do anyway.
Which I think
And it's also stupid because Avatar was also a pretty serious show.
I think to say they want it to be more serious is dismissive of the original, because
Well, I think
just because the
the
first
original-
season isn't outright in your face serious.
I think the original
the
is serious.
Subtext
but it gives-
is what's serious.
Yeah, it gives both. It gives
Right.
you that joy of watching it, like the hijinks of it is
Right.
what gives
And
you that good feeling.
My biggest problem is in the first season, they are literally beating you over the head with the idea of hope. and how the Avatar is bringing hope to people around the world. Just the idea of him, that he's here physically present again, right? You do not get that same sense of hope even a little bit. Even though they keep expositing that he's bringing hope, I'm not seeing any of it.
In that connection, I was watching Marisha Ray has been doing Instagram stories every time she has been watching each episode. I don't know if that name means either something to you, either of you,
Who?
but Marisha Ray. She's a big voice actor, and also she's part of the Critical Role team.
Okay.
Doesn't matter. She's been doing something, and she had a breakdown where she was like, I'm going to talk about Katara's character because it's bothering me. Because she's a huge Avatar fan, too.
Right.
And she comes from a background of being like a producer and a director and a showrunner and stuff on her own end.
Right.
So like she's trying to be as objective about it and being like, it's an adaptation. It's an adaptation. She like constantly is saying that, like, it's, of course it's not going to be 1-to-1. But she's like, the problem with animated Avatar and Navatar, I'm sticking with Navatar.
Okay.
Is that in animated, like our OG, her whole reason to go with Aang and go with him is that she has a childlike ideal of hope, and this person is bringing that hope to people, and you see that happen throughout each thing, that she is going to get to like make the world into what she thinks it should be, and Aang is giving her the hope that that can be the case, so she goes with him.
Aang is like the physical embodiment of hope.
Right. But in Avatar, it is, well, my bending got a little better when I knew him, so I guess I'll keep going.
Might as
with
well
him.
stick around.
Yeah, like it's not like he's hopeful. It's anything like that. It's just, she literally says, she's like, I've never been this good at water bending ever until I met him. We got to go after him. Like that's basically what she says, and it's like, so she's just going with him because I don't know, she got better at bending, I guess.
Yeah, she's just reading off the script.
Yeah, so like it's like
I guess I have to.
It doesn't. It's nowhere. It's just they make things like infinitely weaker.
Yeah.
In ways that they're like trying to like in the ways that they change stuff. It just, I don't know. It's kind of dumb.
All right, let's move on from Avatar because you guys are already doing 2 hours of content. To
be fair, that's 5 weeks from now.
3 hours.
Yeah. To be fair, that's 5 weeks
I
from
know,
now.
but it's gonna be a little redundant.
Yeah, you're right.
So we'll do.
Have you been watching anything recently?
Okay, there's something I want to complain about, but you're definitely not gonna see it. You watch Netflix, right?
Yeah.
Do you know something called One Day?
One Day?
Yeah.
No, let me look it up. Hold on.
So,
Just talk while I look it up.
Okay. So Simran made me, I was at her house and she made me watch the show. It's like a popular girl show. It's on Netflix.
A popular girl show?
Yeah. So it's on Netflix because, again, I don't consume Netflix on my own.
Okay.
So, and she was just like, we're going to watch this. And it apparently was a book. And then it was a movie, and then now they've made it a show. The movie was done, I think, like 2011 or something, and now it's a show. I think we only watched like 4 or 5 episodes. I just want to complain about it really quick because
it's a romance story?
Yes.
Okay.
I fucking hate it. I'm so angry about it. And I feel like someone's going to come for me in the comments.
Awesome.
And I don't know if it was just like horrible casting or like, I don't know what it was, but basically the premise of the book, movie, show, all of them,
right? The general story,
yeah, is these 2 people, they meet at their graduation party at college.
Okay.
And this guy Dexter, he's like
a serial killer.
Yes,
exactly. I was gonna say.
Sorry, I couldn't.
Yes, exactly.
Beat me to the punch.
And he's just like a player. Like, he just
Okay.
sleeps with everybody in the school. And then, you know, there's this girl Emma. She's like the shy, different from the other girls. You know, whatever. And
different than the other girls.
You know the one.
I just anytime I hear that, it's always the like in a way like the JoJo pose. It's like different from the other girls.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Like dramatic head turn.
But so for this one, I haven't seen the movie, so I'm not going to be talking about that. I will bring it into play a little bit later, but I haven't seen it. I just watched the trailer of it, but it is a little bit important later. But I'm just going to talk about the show and the couple episodes that I watched. But so the actor for Dexter, he's so beautiful.
Hold on.
You should look him up too.
Okay.
Is he the white guy?
Yeah, he's just like this. He's like any.
What's the show called again?
One Day. He's just like any general romance, like
handsome
man. Yeah,
guy.
Like a model, like
handsome man.
Yes, but
I mean, he looks fine.
Yeah, but he is very handsome. Nope, that's the movie. It's
he's blondish, like a dirty, shaggy blonde kind of.
Look up 2024, so you don't get a 2024. Look up 2024, so you
I
don't get
know
the movie.
that beautiful is the right word.
No, when you're watching him,
I think he looks fine.
His stills don't do it. Like when you're watching him.
Oh my God,
is him.
Is it like the lead guy from the new Hunger Games, where like him with brown hair is kind of meh, but with the blonde hair, it's everything? Okay, I understand.
But so when you're watching him, and then like you get a glimpse, like, and he'll like smile, and like it's just.
Okay, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. I get the appeal.
Yeah. So the stills aren't the same. It's like in action.
Right.
It's really the only reason I kept going and watching, because Simran was like, you have to watch this with me. And I was hating every moment.
Okay.
But I stuck in it for Dexter. So I was like, whatever. And so they meet on this day. He decides that he wants to sleep with her because she's different than the rest of the girls, whatever.
She's not like other girls.
Yeah. When he can sleep with anyone. And mind you, she looks.
When you can sleep with anyone, you only want the one you can't have.
She says she can that he can have her.
Oh,
so
okay.
like
Well,
she takes him like home with her. So she's not ugly, but I don't think she's like that attractive. She ends up looking better later, but specifically this day that he meets her, she does not look good. And I think that this is a huge fucking flaw, because it does not make sense for him to pick her up. Like, it just does not make sense with this story. So to bring the movie into play, for the main character, Emma, Anne Hathaway plays her. Anne Hathaway is beautiful. So, like, that makes sense, you know?
Okay,
So, like, yeah.
So looking at these screen grabs.
So, wait. Before you say anything, the premise of the show is each episode is 1 year later. So you might be looking at her at a different year. And I do say after a couple years, she does start to look prettier. So you might be looking at her at a different year, because I do think later she looks better.
Okay.
That when he meets her and decides to sleep with her, that time, I don't think that she, like, it doesn't make sense to me to pick her up.
I was just going to say that from the screen grabs that I'm seeing, and I don't know when this is, in terms of context for the story.
Yeah.
I feel like the styling that they
It's
gave
like
her
the 80s.
is weirdly frumpy and ill-fitting.
Yes.
And like seeing her separate from the show in just like normal clothes or styled, better fitted clothes,
She looks good.
She looks good.
Yes.
So I don't know why they kneecapped their own star of the show.
That's what I'm saying. And a couple years later,
like, that is, you can't tell me.
yes, that's a couple years later, and she looks good there. Yeah, that's a couple years later, and she looks fine. Like, but the night that he meets her, it does not make sense
that they would like be together.
Yes, that he would just be like, "Yep, this is my choice." Like, yeah, I'm
into it.
Yeah. But Anne Hathaway being Emma,
Right.
like, I could see that, like, besides her being like a shy different but I could see
So
she's always beautiful.
Do you think she's
so,
just
like,
not striking enough?
no, I don't think she's striking enough, because there are those like shy girls that they but like they're still beautiful, so like him wanting her could like still make sense, you know. Shy girls could be hot, like that doesn't have to do anything with it, so that can make sense. But like, as to your point, seeing her separate than this, they're nerfing her. Like, why are they doing like
it's a weird choice because all the clothes, you can tell they don't fit her. Yeah, they're too big for her.
I just don't understand why.
And it doesn't feel like an intentional, like, oh, like street style, oversized, kind of cool aesthetic. No, it's like, no, this is just actually too big for her.
Yeah, and then there's like, I don't know. So
why did you not tailor these outfits?
It doesn't make sense for him to be like, yep, I want it.
That's the one.
Yep, let's go.
Pack
so
it up.
Then, you know, they're leaving together. They're going back to her apartment to sleep together. And then she decides that she's not gonna sleep with him and she's just gonna talk to him because, you know, she's different.
Wait, hold on. So it's called One Day.
Yeah.
Is the one day of eventually leading to them fucking?
The one day is it's like July 15th of every year. So it's called, okay, because it's only showing them on that day of every year, like what they're doing.
Okay.
But yeah, so they don't bang.
At
spoiler.
all?
Yeah, it's so infuriating.
Like
I hate this show. I don't know. I'm only like 4 or 5 episodes in. Like, but it's so infuriating.
Pulling a Ramona Flowers.
Like,
I'm not gonna have sex with you now.
Like,
okay.
It's so aggravating. And so, but she like wants it, but she's like incredibly rude to him because she's like different than the other girls. And so like whatever, and she's like in the bathroom and her roommate's like, what are you doing? Sleep with him. And then she's like, but I know, like, why is he here? And she's like, because he wants to sleep with you. He's like, but he sleeps with everyone. And she's like, okay, it's your turn, go ahead. Like,
but also she doesn't want to sleep with him.
Your
just
turn,
like, I
go
don't
ahead.
want
to. You get in there, champ.
Yeah, no, literally.
But if she doesn't want to sleep with him, why isn't she just like?
She does want to sleep with him. That's the infuriating part. Is she does want to sleep with him.
What? She's too
she's
good.
Just different than the other girl. Like, I don't know. It's infuriating.
Oh,
like,
I get it. If she does sleep with him, she's just like every other girl.
Yeah,
and then
like,
she's not like other girls.
So then.
Yeah, he won't want to sleep with her again after that.
So then, like, while she's in the bathroom, he's like looking around her apartment and like she reads and like.
Oh my God, she's an intellectual.
Yes. And like then there's like weirdly, this is like me nitpicking, but there's like a picture of her. It's like a photo booth,
right?
But
like
it's only her. Like it's a photo booth.
That's actually really funny. Does she have no friends?
No, but she does. Like her roommate's her friend, and there was other people at the party that were like,
what, you don't keep a collage of photos that you look really good at.
She didn't look good either, and it's not even like her with little props either. Like it's just like her.
She's allowed to think she looks good.
It was weird. Like I don't know. Again, nitpicking, but like I just thought. But
I understand what you're saying.
Weird detail, but like he's like looking through her stuff, and she's so different, and then whatever, and then he tries to initiate again, and then she's like talking, and he's like, all right, like let's just lay down and like fucking go to sleep. Like this is
too much effort.
This is over. Like
you ruined the vibe.
And then he talks. Because then she's like, oh, what do you? Because like I said, she's extremely rude to him, and she's like, what do you want to do, like with your life? And then he was just like, travel, like be happy, like
broad strokes. Yeah,
like they just graduated like college, and she's like, I want to change the world, like these things. Like I know, like, it makes me so angry. And so they have it, but she's like an asshole to him. It was just like.
So
you
what does
suck.
he see in her?
No, I don't know.
Like, does he want a challenge?
No. So this gets. I am thinking this is the worst night ever. There's no chemistry. Like, this is dead. Like, it does not make sense, like, how this is going. And I have not seen the movie, so I do not know if this is acting performance or if this is how the character is written in the book. Like, I don't know because I have not seen the movie, and there is
you have no other background info.
There is nowhere to watch this movie unless I pay money for it, and I won't. Like, not even pay money to have a streaming service. Like, you have to pay money to rent it, and I will not.
Understand.
So, like, I don't know. I'll never know. So if somebody knows, then make a comment. I don't know. But so I don't know if this actress is playing her really well, or if they told her to act in a different direction, and like.
Gotcha.
but it doesn't seem like it doesn't make sense. It just doesn't. I'm thinking this is the worst night ever. She's a fucking bitch. Like she's frumpy. Like she doesn't look good. Like it doesn't. She has fucking pictures alone. Like it does not make any sense. I don't understand why he's
what did
here.
this girl do to you?
Make
Kick
me angry.
your dog in
make
past
me
life?
angry. That's what she did, and it doesn't make any sense to me why he's here. They go to bed, and the next day he's sneaking out, right? And then she wakes up. And he's like, oh,
gotta go.
Yeah, he's like, my parents are coming. I gotta
skedaddle.
Yeah, I gotta leave. And I'm like, oh, thank God, get out of here. Like,
run while you can.
It's time. And then she gets up and she's like, okay, well, like, I'm gonna go shower. Like, will you be here when I get out? And then
no, bitch, I'm walking out the door.
Yes, that should be the response. And then he's like, oh, well, I gotta call my mom and maybe they could leave later. And I'm like, wait, what? I was like, you were literally just leaving. And he was like, I was gonna leave you a note. And I was like, no, you weren't. You were literally just leaving. You lied about like your parents. Why now that she said, I'm gonna go shower, will you be here?
Maybe he's trying to get in some like post shower action.
I don't know. But like it was just such a weird thing.
He's like, last night I got nothing.
Yeah,
except for a conversation.
Where she's a fucking bitch.
Like, she's gonna go shower, so it will be nice and squeaky clean. So I might as well.
But like, also, are you more willing to have sex ever just showering to get ready for your day and then have to shower again?
Like, I don't think
your likelihood of that happening.
I don't think this makes sense, anyways. No matter what, because
you join in the shower, Sage.
He was saying,
yeah, but that's obviously not going to happen based off of the direction everything else is going in.
She also didn't invite him. She said, "Will you
post
be here
shower
when I get out?" And then,
like, I could get it if it was like, "Are you going to be here when I get out?" And then it's like I've come out of the shower with my sexy wet hair and I'm taking off the towel seductively type deal vibes.
She just asked, and then he's like, oh, well, let me call. So then he goes into the hallway and he makes a fake call because this was fake because he was lying.
Right.
And he doesn't call anybody. Like, you can hear on the phone that he's not calling anybody.
Right.
And he has this fake conversation. She doesn't shower. Her roommate was in there, and they just have like a conversation. Like, she doesn't shower, so I don't know.
What was the point?
I don't know why he doesn't point out the fact that she doesn't shower, because then they just like have breakfast, like the three of them, and then they talk about how they're gonna.
Absolutely, he doesn't bring it up because the guy doesn't fucking care.
I guess, but like,
but then why is he there?
I don't know. I don't
understand.
No. What I'm saying is like,
there.
if I'm going to get into I fuck around guy's head, right? She's like, will you be here after I take a shower? And he's like, all right, maybe I'll get laid. And then she comes out, didn't shower. All right, maybe I'll get laid.
They're having breakfast with the roommate, and then they talk about hiking.
Wait.
So him in his graduation outfit, and she's like in like a sporty outfit. He goes in his dress shoes, his suspenders, his like fucking dress, like his outfit from graduation to climb this mountain. And she makes him do this while she's in like her sporty like outfit, and they climb to the top, and then they're like weirdly like holding hands, but then they see people up there, and then they do like the thing where they're like, oh my God, we weren't seen together, but then they're laying there together, and then that doesn't come up again, that these people see that they're like together there, doesn't come up. Then she weirdly takes a picture of the two of them there, even though they're supposed to go their separate ways, and then they leave, and then he's like, oh, well, do you want to go get a drink? And then she's like, yeah, I could go drink. And then they're going to the bar, but then they start running to his apartment because somehow he lives somewhere by here, but he's never climbed this hill before. It's like a famous hill.
Wait, but if he lives nearby, couldn't he be like, oh, can we stop in my apartment so I can wear the appropriate attire for this fucking mountain?
That's a good point. I didn't think about that either. That's a good point. I didn't think about that. That's a really fucking good point. Don't know. Don't fucking know.
Also, if he's like the known man whore of the campus, at least in my experience, if you have the reputation of like being a hit it and quit it type, you're not putting in this much effort to hit it.
But she's different, Sage.
Oh, right. I'm sorry.
Did you not hear that when she said it 30 times?
Even if she's not like other girls, you're not putting in this much effort.
I don't know. But so then,
hey man, sometimes people do a lot of dumb shit for something.
Then they're running to his apartment and they're like holding hands. But then his parents show up And then
Gasp.
yeah, and then so his parents are there, and then they were like, "Oh, why don't you join us for dinner, Emily?" And they're like, "It's Emma." And then she's like, "Oh, so sorry." And she's like, "Okay, well, I gotta leave. See you never. Have a great life." And then she leaves, and then he like runs up to her, and he's like, "Emily, like, haha, remember we just had that moment before? So cute."
Sayo fucking Nara,
and
Dexter.
then he was just like, "I don't have your number. Like, how are we
Are
ever
they
gonna-"
British?
Yes.
Okay,
they are.
I was like, why
Yeah.
are we suddenly
Sorry,
speaking in a British
they are
accent?
British. This is a British show. I forgot to mention it.
I was wondering why sometimes you were going in and out of
My
British.
bad.
Emily.
Yes. This is a British show.
That makes much more sense now.
Yes, my bad. And then it's like, how am I supposed to reach you? And then she like writes down the number, and then they start like writing each other letters, but then it goes to the next day and they're just banging other people. She's like in a van and some guy's finger banging her, and it's not great. But then he's like in Rome fucking
The
a
finger
girl.
banging isn't great, or
Yeah.
okay.
And then he's fucking a girl in Rome, and it is great. And then so I'm like, oh, well then they never speak again, and that's great because I fucking hated all of that. So
Wow.
good.
Turned down getting laid by the dude that sleeps around, so hopefully would be good at bed. Then just getting a shitty finger bang later.
I don't know, but so then they're writing
Gotta
letters.
rethink your life choices.
Because at this point, I didn't figure out what the one day meant. I think I figured that out like episode 3
Right.
or some shit. Like Simran never figured it out. I informed her. I was like, oh, this is what one day meant.
That's actually so funny.
And so like I was. So then, like the next episode, they're like writing each other like letters, and so
Right.
she's like in this touring acting group, and he's in Rome like with his mother and father, and they're I don't know, he's being hot. Like that's literally just what he does there. Like
Great.
he's traveling. That's what he wanted to do, and so somehow they're still friends and they still talk and everything after she was a fucking bitch, and for some
Via
reason,
letter.
yeah, and they write each other lots of letters, and they're just talking about that. But yeah, for some reason they stay in contact, and I don't know. I can't remember what the fuck happened. That seems like an unimportant episode. Next episode, it's like another year later, and then she moves back to London. I think he moves back to London, but now she's like working at like a fast food restaurant. Oh, because that first night she says he's like not gonna amount to anything, and like he's not, but now he's like
That's so rude. Oh my god.
like, I know,
This
that's
is
what I'm saying.
post graduation.
that was when they were trying to fuck, like she was saying that he wasn't gonna, that's what I'm saying. I was like, there was not, I don't understand, like she's
I'm
from
sorry.
me, like,
If
it's
if
horrible.
I took somebody home being like, okay,
didn't
I'm
make
gonna
any
get
sense.
it, and then
didn't make
they're
sense.
gonna
It
put
didn't
me
make
down.
sense. It didn't make
Hello?
sense. He could fuck anyone. He could go out on the street and just pick a new person.
Maybe he's into that, you know?
He
he's into-
wasn't.
maybe,
It
yeah, maybe
didn't-
he's into
he
being
didn't-
degraded.
It didn't even seem like it, because at least if it seemed
But
like
he
it,
stayed.
I'd get it.
But he stayed around, so clearly he was somewhat into it.
I
He was
don't
into
know.
being degraded.
He's into
Horrible.
books, I guess. Like, I don't know. Like, but so he's like kind of famous now because he's like a TV like show
Host or
yeah,
something? Okay.
something like that. And she's working at like a fast food restaurant, so he like
Yeah, karma's
brings,
a bitch, isn't
yeah,
it?
brings like a girlfriend in because he just has like a new girlfriend all the time because they're just friends. And so he tries to like tip her and give her like money because he's
Right.
better than her now. And I was like, get her, Dexter. Like, fuck her. And so but they're like close friends, and I don't know. And then so like that's just the whole thing. It's so like it's just them just being friends. But then I'm like skipping a lot of stuff. It's not important because the next episode is the one I want to talk about. So the
You
next
have
year,
7 minutes.
that's okay. This is the last episode I want to talk about because this is the last episode that I watched. The next year go to Greece together, alone.
God, I wish I was traveling as much as these fucking people.
Seriously.
That's what happens when you live in Europe.
Yeah.
So
And that's,
it's like a $30 like flight. Like,
yeah, I mean, basically, it's essentially going to the same different state, but like.
except it doesn't cost us $30 to go to a different
well,
state.
I was gonna say also the different states aren't interesting.
That too.
So.
So they go to Greece together, even though he has a girlfriend. But they go alone, and then they're there, and what do you know? They give them a bed, only one instead of 2 beds.
Right.
Classic.
Oh,
And so-
hijinks.
Yeah. And so then, well, they're there.
Did the hotel room have a cuck chair?
The Sneeko chair? Did it have a Sneeko chair? This matters.
I don't remember, but she was watching him shower. So not from a chair. She was like going to get a beer, and then literally he just left the door open, and she was like walking by,
He
and
totally
then she like
did
went,
that on purpose. Though.
I just don't think he cares. He just and then
He's like, yeah, you could see what you missed.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But then also at the same time, like there was like a nudist beach, and he was trying to go to the nudist beach.
Okay, so he's into
And then-
that kind of thing.
Yeah, he's like a free spirit,
Right.
And like all this kind of stuff, and
fun.
like
I personally could
And-
literally never.
Nah,
Sounds
me
horrible.
and my friend from Texas, like she's always wanted to go, and we were like, yeah, whatever, we can find a time.
No, absolutely
I
not.
wouldn't either.
When Italy, it was fun.
I wouldn't want to see other people.
I don't want people to see me,
I don't
and
wanna
I
see people,
especially
and I
don't want
wanna
to see other people.
So it just sounds like a bad time.
But like,
altogether.
Is
no,
it
it's-
just for the experience?
yeah, I mean, it's also like you're not like you don't. People don't go to that for people to be like looking at you. That's not the point of it.
I mean,
I
I
get
know.
it, but I also know myself. I would absolutely be looking.
I
right, but
would
like
be
that's
looking
yeah, but
too,
like that's
yeah.
not like the point.
I know,
you know? Like,
but I
that's-
would.
Yeah, and also
At
usually
least
it's,
for a little while before I start to relax.
yeah. Plus, usually
Yeah.
it's like old people, so it doesn't matter anyway. You don't really wanna be
Especially, I
That's
don't
even
want to
worse.
go. Yeah. Anyway,
In
but I gotta
Italy, it
get
was
through this.
fine.
I gotta get through this.
in Italy, it was
Yeah,
fine. It
get
was
through
kinda
this.
good.
Get through this. The
Okay,
nudist
okay,
beach,
okay.
showering. She's creeping.
Yeah, because they're at the beach and he gets like noticed by people because they're like, "Oh my god, we love you on TV," and then she's like, "Oh my god, like does this happen a lot?" Because you know he's better, and she's just a fucking bitch that works in fast food. Like, I fucking hate her. She's awful. I don't understand why he talks to her. Oh, also I forgot to mention he's actually like a really good friend to her because she like wants to be a writer and like write plays and stuff, and he like actually talks her up all the time, and he's like, "I keep telling you like you're really great. Other people tell you you're great. Like why don't you believe?" Anyone.
Right.
Like he's actually a really good friend. Like he's just a flirt. Like that's
Right.
his
He's
flaws,
just a
but-
nice person.
Yeah, but he's actually a really good friend, and she's just an asshole to him all the fucking time. And I'm just like, why do you speak to her? Like none of it makes sense, and that's why I want to watch the movie because I is this Emma? Like, is this Emma as a character, or is it like
Just how they are choosing to write
yes,
it.
is this adaptation like that they're taking this to an extreme, or is it because I guess I can't picture Anne Hathaway that way, and maybe that's why my brain is
Like refuses.
yes, I'm like does not compute. I was like I can't do it, but like maybe but like I don't know. Like is this Emma as a character? But I just fucking hate her, and it doesn't make sense for him for anything. But then they're at dinner and they're like, "Oh, let's tell each other like secrets that the others don't know." And then she was like, "Oh, like after graduation, I had a crush on you." And he's like, "I thought we were telling each other secrets." Like,
Yeah, like, no
we
shit,
didn't
Sherlock.
know. Yes, and then she gets fucking angry at him because she's always angry at him. And then she's like, "How'd you know?" And he's like, "Whatever the fucking roommate's name is." And he's like, "She told me."
But also, didn't she invite him to his apartment to fuck?
But she said afterwards.
much more obvious
and
can
then
you
she was
be?
Like afterwards, and she's like, "I used to write poetry about you," or I don't know. She fucking sucks. And then later, he convinces her to go skinny dipping. Like he's like, "Oh, we're here. It's like nighttime." She goes in, and then he tells her that he likes her. And I fancy you. And then he's like, "But the problem is, like, I fancy everybody because he's a man whore." And then,
right.
which is fine. You know, there's people that are like that.
Right.
Like, polyamory is very much a thing, and he's just like that. And so that's the problem. And so he says
So
that
she wants to have a monogamous relationship.
Yes. And so he said, "But if you just want to fuck around, I'm down. I don't want a relationship." Even though he's literally in a relationship. I can't remember what the fuck his girlfriend's name is, but he's literally in a relationship right now. So for him to be like, "I don't
So
want to
he's lying?
I don't know. So she says
Is
to
the
him,
girlfriend short term?
it's a short term. He always has like a short term girlfriend,
Okay.
and they just like change out. But so she literally says to him something along the lines of, "It feels like every time I'm like kind of getting out of your grasp, like you feel it, and then you like
Right, pull me back in.
yeah,
kind
you
of a
like
thing.
say something to like pull me back in." And she's like, "Fuck you." And that's kind of how it's left off. But like everybody and their fucking mother is posting about this show, about them crying and being like, "This show teared me apart. Like, this is the most amazing show ever," which is the whole reason why Simran was like, "You have to watch this with me. Like, it's an amazing romance." Like, and I'm like, where? which is it later? Is it later? Or like I think
Gotcha.
it's like 13 episodes or something, and they're like a half hour
Oh,
like long.
God.
Like, but like
No,
just,
Netflix is 13
I
episodes.
so I don't understand. It's so I hate her guts. Like it's so infuriating because she's just a fucking bitch. Like I don't. It,
Maybe I'll watch it and I'll let you know what I think.
Please. I want to know what you think because maybe I'm too harsh on her and maybe I mean Simran didn't like her either. So
Gotcha.
at least in that room that we were in, it was a Emma hating room. So
a hate
like,
group.
Yeah, because we were just like, what is your problem? Like it just doesn't make any sense for him to pick her up. And then Simran, like after the fact, like 2 days later, messaged me and she was like, because we're just trying to cope with this being like, why would this happen? She like messaged me 2 days later being like, maybe it's because he was just making his way through all of the people. Like it
He
really
wanted
was,
to like just check it off
really
before he
was,
left school.
Yeah, like it really was just her turn. And so like what the roommate said, like
right.
it was her turn, and so that's why he was doing it, and that's why he stayed, even though she was a fucking bitch. And then for some reason, he just liked her, and I'm like, but I don't get it.
Interesting.
I don't know, but that's one day.
Thanks for watching this week's
Yep.
episode of the Vaguely Anime Podcast.
Mike's eyes was like glazed over that
Yeah.
entire time.
It
Just now.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You asked me if I watched anything.
No, I know. That's fine.
Yeah, there you go. And you asked me to be louder. There you go.
It's true. Thanks for watching this week's episode of the Vaguely Anime Podcast. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, leave a review, follow. Check out Kat at Kat the Moonstar on Twitch.
Mm-hmm.
You have 1 week to watch Kami-sama Kiss. So do that. See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.